Minnesota was one of just 8 teams in the country last year to post not 1 but 2 wins against top 10 opponents. Can't get any better than beating number 1. That's what the Gophers did when they knocked off Texas. Also beat number 7th ranked Wisconsin. That border battle win always means just a little bit more. And while officially we are the Big Ten Network, for a large portion of volleyball season, we're the Minnesota Gopher Volleyball Network. You see 8 different games here on the Big Ten Network linear. You can see other matches on Big Ten Plus. Minnesota will also appear twice on FS1 and once in an NBC broadcast against Nebraska on November the 8th. And yes, the Gophers have arrived in Chicago for Big Ten Volleyball Media Days. We're about to talk with Keegan Cook. No, his head is not actually that big in real life, but his hair really does look that good. Proof positive. Keegan, with that, welcome in.
It's great to be back. Thanks for having me.
We'll dive into your team in just a little bit, but I know it's been a very busy summer for you with some international travel and coaching. Tell us a little bit more about the details with that.
Yeah, I had the privilege to coach the USA U19 team to a silver medal at the World Championships in Croatia. Spent about 20 days out there. Had a chance to coach some of our country's best, including 2 of our Gophers, Jordan Taylor and Kelly Kinney. So just a wonderful shared experience traveling. There's nothing like it, and represent your country. It's a special feeling. So thankful for that time.
And an amazing place to go visit. I was lucky enough to be in Croatia a couple of years ago. Some phenomenal cities and views, unbelievable food. What were some of the best off-the-court experiences that you and the team were able to enjoy? You
know, just showing them that culture. I'm hoping that all of them play overseas at one point, and just the pace of life, and just taking pleasure in the simple things and conversations and coffee and having longer meals than they're used to. I think all that stuff is important, and to share that with the young athletes is pretty special.
As we get back to the Minnesota program, another tournament trip for your team in 2024. What were the biggest positives for you that came out of your second year in the cities?
Yeah, there's obviously two big moments, right? I think in a 10-month period, we went from the 2023 season of losing a tough match, in Maryland, New Jersey, and then 10 months later being the #1 team in the country. I mean, talk about a transformation in a short period of time. And then winning our first border battle at home was something special to give back to the community. So just glimpses of what we expect to come in the future. And I think I'll hopefully always remember it as the good that precedes the great.
I was joking that it seems like it's longer than just your 3rd season, but it really is kind of the infancy of your coaching career in Minneapolis. How much more comfortable, how much, I don't know if easy is the right word because nothing in this league is ever easier, but how much more familiar does it feel with each passing day?
It feels like home, and you're right, the time works funny when you're at home. It passes by more quickly than you realize. I think what I've loved most is how great the athletes have gotten in our gym at learning, and just how much progress you can make when you've got real trust with your student athletes. And then the job starts to get pretty fun, which is where we're at today.
Your team is very highly regarded in the preseason. I think one of the big reasons why 3 of your top 4 hitters are back, including Julia Hanson, just coming off an absolutely phenomenal season. And I think she's a player, not just in the Big Ten, but nationally. A lot of folks who cover this sport expect her to become something of a household name this year. How has she evolved, and how does she get even better?
Yeah, it was a big moment for her. We talked about it in the spring of 24. We just said, hey, most players miss their moment. I don't want you to miss yours. And I told her, hey, I can't protect you once the season starts, so we got to do all the work now this spring. And to her credit, Julia has been probably the most coachable athlete that I've had in Minnesota. And most athletes are agreeable, but being coachable is different. Hearing no from your coach and making the most of it, telling your coach no sometimes, and then making the most of it. I'm just very thankful, I wouldn't have seen that. I don't think she would have seen that in our first 3 months together, that she would be kind of one of the biggest points of success in this transition. So she's got big goals ahead. I'm very thankful that she was named an All-American Honorable Mention, which we both didn't think was appropriate. And so I hope she's got something to show this year for everyone.
How important is that to a player's growth? Not necessarily just to talk back to a coach, but to feel confident enough to share your views and not just accept what the coach or the staff tells you as being gospel?
It's just more rare than you realize these days. With young talent, when they're young, everyone wants them on their team. They're a rare commodity, and so they get managed. They don't get coached. And the greatest gift an athlete can give them is to let you coach them. And so I've got 2 athletes here with me today that I think in the last 6 months have been extremely coachable, and they've given me that gift, and they'll be better for it, I think.
Zeynep Palabiyik, the other athlete that's with you here, having started every match at her position a year ago, and to be able to have that experience specifically at that spot, what does that mean for your team?
Yeah, it showed this spring. She had her best performance of her time here. she's always played with a good sense of joy, but now you see a different level of confidence and a different level of mastery than maybe she had before. And we tell stories to each other about her first matches in the PAV and our first match last season against Stanford, which we were joking about this morning, and the player she is today. It's pretty amazing.
And again, it goes back to that confidence to be able to look back at moments that maybe were not your best, but to then turn them into positives moving forward.
Yeah, you don't last very long as a player or a coach if you dwell on the negatives and don't turn them into something positive, for sure.
McKenna Wooker also returns. You and I have discussed her ceiling, I know, in the past at length, and she's dealt with some nagging injuries a little bit. If she stays healthy, just how high is that ceiling within this roster?
Yeah, we could never reach McKenna Wooker's potential in the time that we have together. She's the kind of player, when healthy, will be chasing her own ceiling for her entire college and professional career. And that's someone that you're always going to show up to see in the gym. So yeah, we've been extremely careful with her recovery and continue to do so as we enter the season. But yeah, to her credit, she does a lot of quiet, lonely work to hopefully have a chance to make a big impact for us this year.
Which other players that Minnesota viewers may be familiar with do you expect to take maybe a step this year and be a bigger part of your rotation than they've been in years past?
Yeah, we've got some interesting position battles. This will be one of our most exciting training camps. We've got some older athletes who are experienced and who are confident and who really are leaders for us, players like Lauren Crowell. And then we have young emerging players who our fans haven't seen yet, like Carly Gilk, for example. Watching them battle out at the opposite position will be enjoyable. We've got young outside hitters like Kelly Kinney, and we've got more seasoned veterans like Alex Acevedo. So we just have this interesting mix of young talent and old talent. Calissa Minity and Jordan Taylor. So it's just going to be interesting. We have a lot of different looks we can throw at people, and I know that throughout the season we'll be using them all for sure.
And with a lot of returners, with a lot of veterans, you didn't have to go as deep into the transfer portal as some other programs. What was the philosophy that you and your staff had heading into the portal? Just 2 additions.
Yeah, let's get exactly what we need. We know exactly what we need, and when we found those 2 players in 2 Big Ten experienced athletes in Lourdes Myers and Georgia Lee, and they came right in at the semester, trained all spring with us. And it was just, it couldn't have been a more perfect fit. And so, yeah, we're not in a place now where we're needing to find the biggest pieces to build the team around. And I think that's a credit to the culture that the team has built.
Lourdes is a player who saw a lot of time at Purdue. So how does she fit into your rotation?
Yeah, different level of physicality and dynamic offense. I think our goal for her is to have it be her best year and to have her leave here ready to be a pro. And if anything, if these first 6 months say anything, she's going to have a good season.
You do lose the very unique combination of size and skill set that Melanie Schaffmaster had at her position. Just not a lot of other players at that height that played the way and the position that she played. So how do you make up for that lost production?
The January was a moment for us to really decide who we wanted to be offensively. It was all about redesigning the offense with a couple new setters, especially Stella Swenson coming in off a redshirt season that she made the most of. A rebuilt receiving unit that'll hopefully put us in a new ceiling for our offensive efficiency. But you're going to see a lot more balance in our offense than you have in the past. It doesn't mean it won't feature a lot of Julia Hanson, but just being able to score from the middle, from the back row, from behind the setter. It's going to be exciting expanding this playbook over the season.
Your teams, and not just the Minnesota, your teams historically have played tough non-conference schedules. Your non-con this season includes A&M and Marquette, amongst others. When you set out to look at the non-conference schedule, what's your thought process in building that, knowing what you have waiting for you in Big Ten play? Yeah,
again, every year our non-conference schedule has gotten a little more mature, is what I've told people as we've learned each year.
Define more mature.
Yeah, just what's coming from the Big Ten a little bit more, and so you can be a little more strategic. But the whole mentality this year was we got to play winning programs. And so whether they're a mid-major, a high mid-major, a Power 5 school, they need to be winning programs in tough venues. And so if you really dive in and look at it, playing schools like Dayton, playing schools like Loyola Chicago at Chicago, Marquette, these programs are used to winning, or they're coming to the PAV expecting to compete and win. And I wanted our team to see that and to get everyone's best, and I think they will in the non-conference.
Kind of a unique start to Big Ten play, as your first match is against Michigan State and one of the 3 first-year head coaches who was just recently on your staff, and Kristen Kelsey. Have you thought much about what that meeting will be like?
I call her all the time just to remind her, the date that we'll see her. No, I'm excited to welcome her back to the PAV. Excited to compete against her. I've loved competing with her. But, it's a memory. I remember my first match in the Pac-12, and so I'm excited to be with her in her first match as a head coach, something that she's worked hard to earn.
Have you shared any advice?
Not for that match, but yeah, she gets lots of free advice, and as she once told me, you get what you pay for. So no, Kristen and I talk often, and I'm just looking forward to her as she begins her long coaching career.
I'm guessing that you knew that she had the stuff right away to be a head coach in this conference. Otherwise, you probably wouldn't have hired her.
Yeah, there was a moment, I remember a moment in a match, where I came back after taking a little bit of leave, and she was, in a timeout, running a timeout as she does. And I remember looking at her going, wow, she's doing my job really well right now. And it might be time for her to be a head coach. But no, you can feel it when someone's got those aspirations, and she just needed her moment. She got it.
From one incoming Big Ten head coach to one outgoing, as John Cook retired in the offseason, took some of us, I think, by surprise, but he said at that time, I've kind of done enough, which is a little bit of an understatement. I'd love to get your thoughts as someone who's coached against him and knows him as what he means to this sport.
Yeah, just never satisfied with where they were at, and always thinking about growth, and always thinking about doing something that hadn't been done before. And being just kind of merciless in that space, and not ever, I think, getting too distracted from making his program the best it could possibly be. And certainly competed against him and observed him from afar, and wish him a very happy retirement. And it doesn't get any easier with Danny coming in, but yeah, that's probably my takeaway from John.
It may make it easier for us, or in these type of settings. So now when we say Coach Cook, there's only one person who's going to answer.
There is only one, yeah. Yeah, it's nice not to be the second cook for a while, yeah.
For you, heading into 2025, are there goals specifically that you're setting for this team in terms of wins and losses, runs in the NCAA tournament? Are you willing to share any of those with us publicly?
I think what we need to see is just a higher offensive efficiency. And we've been known as a team that can grind you out. We can serve you tough, we can block you tough, we can drag you into a 3-hour match. But we need to be a different kind of team with the personnel that we have. And so I think it's more in that space, that we should be scoring the ball at a pretty high rate if we're doing things the way that we were designed to do. And with that will come what we expect, which is to be playing the last weekend of the season.
Finally, simplest question I could ask, probably a harder answer than the question, how excited are you for this year with the roster you have?
I'm excited to chase their potential. As a coach, every season, the worst feeling is to reach the ceiling of what your team can do. And I'll have to do my best to get anywhere close to that with this group. And that's a good feeling.
Keegan Cook, we appreciate the time. Good luck.
Thanks for everything.
All right, we've talked enough about the student athletes. It's time for us to hear from those student athletes. Elena?
Thanks so much, Rick. We're now joined by Julia Hanson and Zeynep Palabiyik. Thank you so much for joining us today. How has Media Days been so far? This is going to be your favorite station at the end of the day. I'm telling you that now. What have you done so far today?
Well, we flew in this morning, so we got here at about 9:30, 10 o'clock, and we just got to see everything and all the facilities and stuff without the crowds around, so that was really nice. Then we got ready, and now we're here.
Yeah, and we recorded some TikToks and, answered some questions. It was fun.
That's awesome. The TikTok station went well then. Any that are going to go viral, we think? Did you get Coach Cook in any of them?
We still need to do that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Not yet.
We
Okay.
will.
Okay. I'm excited to see that. I'm also excited to see your team this season. Can you give us a little sneak peek on what you guys have been working on all spring and summer, and just what Minnesota volleyball is going to look like this year?
Yeah, I think this spring we've worked a lot on our connections outside of just the gym, so building the connections as a team, and also inside of the gym we've been working on a lot of things like passing, as Zeynep can talk about.
I mean, yeah, we worked a lot about passing because last year it was good, but it needed to get better. So we worked a lot about that. Also, yeah, we worked all the aspects that we need to get better on. So yeah, it was a good spring.
Julia, for you, last year was a breakout season, phenomenal numbers all season long. How do you build on that coming into this season?
Yeah, I think there's more in me. Keegan has a lot more that he can teach me, and probably he has too much to teach me within the next 4 or 5 months. So just going into the gym every single day and trying to learn new things and being coachable is something that I'm going to really work on, because I know my game can grow a lot more.
And what makes you coachable? That's such a great trait.
I trust him. I've built that trust with Keegan. It doesn't happen easily, but on and off the court, I've built that trust. So I know what he's saying is true, and I can, fail in practice, and he doesn't judge, and, it's just easy to trust him.
Zeynep, it's so fun to watch you play in the back row. You're all over the place, playing with so much energy and celebrating your teammates. Where does all of that energy and passion come from?
I don't know. I just love playing volleyball, love being in front of a big crowd, love playing with my teammates, play for my coaches. Also, like, I think one of the most important things that libero must do is give energy to the team, because, you know, outside is hitting or like middle is trying to block. So we just need to give more energy so the team can be better and more energetic. So I think that.
I love it when you jump on your teammates
Yes.
to celebrate. That's always a favorite.
I love that too.
That's always a favorite.
I read that you grew up playing volleyball starting at age 7. How did you get started playing volleyball?
So I used to do swimming. My mom wanted me to do a sport, and I started swimming, but I hated it. So I was like, okay, let's try volleyball, and it was just like so unexpected because I don't have any athletes in my family. So yeah, I just randomly chose volleyball, and it was just that. Yeah.
Julia, playing for your home state of Minnesota, what does that mean to you to be able to go out on that court and represent Minnesota volleyball?
Yeah, it means everything. The legacy of Minnesota volleyball is, you know, there, and it's awesome. And so being able to have Minnesota across my chest is like the biggest accomplishment that I've had so far. So it's awesome.
I read that you were a gymnast. When did that start and when did it stop?
I started gymnastics in kindergarten, and I stopped around 6th or 7th grade. And then my parents were like, well, you have to do a sport. You got to try something. So I was like, oh, I'll try volleyball, you know, in 7th grade. So here I am.
And you stopped because you were getting too tall, or you were just done?
I got too tall and I got a little bit scared.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, volleyball's worked out pretty well for you so far, so we're glad you made that decision. Yeah. Can you guys give us a little sneak peek into Minnesota volleyball and the culture and just kind of what makes your team special? Both of you, love to hear from you both.
I mean, yeah, we have like some sayings like effort makes you eligible, and like, you know, just showing up every day and like practice with your teammates, being a good teammate, you know, like just supporting each other. I think that's the most important. Like, other than being a player, volleyball player, being a human and being a good person, I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah, we have a lot of team values as a team, and this year it's really easy for us all to follow the values. And, you know, we just got so close with each other over the spring season and even this summer, so it just really translates on the court, and I'm really excited for this season.
I've been around your head coach a lot because in the Pac-12 as well, but he has really acute attention to detail, how you guys prepare. How do you enjoy that, and how does it help make you better?
Yeah, I think it helps me a lot because I'm the same way. I notice everything. The little things really matter to me, and that's something that Keegan says to me. It's like, okay, now the little things really matter. So it's like, where is my foot when I'm passing? How is my toss when I'm serving? Like, the little details matter, which in the long run in volleyball, if you can get the little things down, they're going to show up in the games.
Yeah, I agree. It's hard to change a habit, like even the little things that you do every day. So like just like trying to be better, changing those habits is like the most important thing. So I think that helps us a lot.
Zeynep, last year this team took a trip to Europe and made a stop in your home country of Turkey. What was that like, bringing your team home and getting to show them around a little bit?
It was so exciting. Like, we played with my old team there. I showed around. Like, I was a translator. We went to a lot of like historical places and some other places, and they met with my family. Like, normally everybody else's family watching their game, but this time it was my family. So it was just so fun, and you know, like they knew where I grew up in. So yeah, I think it was really fun and really exciting.
What was your favorite thing to show in your home country to your teammates?
I think Grand Bazaar was pretty interesting. Like, all the people around, you know, showing the shops around. I think that was the most fun part.
I know every match in the Big Ten is important, and you guys are probably just looking one by one, but I'm sure you've looked at your schedule. Are there any specific matches you're most looking forward to? I know I love watching the border battle, but are there any ones that you guys have circled on your calendar?
Yeah, of course the border battle, but if I had to pick another one, I'm really excited for UCLA and USC to come to the PAV this year. I think UCLA is going to be very good this year, same with USC, so it's just really fun to get them at the PAV this year.
I'm really excited for like this 3 games back to back, Wisconsin, Penn State, and Nebraska. I think I'm excited for that, like 3 games back to back. That's going to be a good one.
In this conference, wins and losses are this close. How do you get over the hump in those close matches against, you talked about that 3-game stretch, that's a tough one.
Yeah, well, as you know, last year we won a few games by 2 points and lost a lot of games by 2 points. So being able to like get in the gym and realize that every little point is going to matter and we need to leave all of our energy on the court is really important for this season.
Yeah, she said like we lost by 2 points. Like we won by 2 points. So it's like these little points, these little details are so important. So we are just trying to get better for every point. We are just trying to go for every point. So yeah, I think that's the thing.
How did you guys spend your summer?
My May break, I went to Arizona, and then I went to Nashville with some friends, and then of course got back into the gym with some lifting and open gyms with the team.
What did you do in Arizona?
Vacation.
Okay.
Just went
Some
out
warm
to some
weather.
Very warm weather, some nice food, and just a lot of downtime and relaxation.
How about you?
I went back home for 2 months, and I went to Japan, Korea, and Greece. So yeah, I traveled a lot this
With
year
your
too.
family?
Yeah, my mom was living in Korea for 6 months now. So we visited her and then also went to Japan. And then just for vacation, I went to Greece with Lauren and Melanie. So
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
That's awesome. Well, besides all of the travel that you guys do individually, what do you like to do together as a team outside of the gym, outside of lifting, but just when you're back on campus as a team, what type of activities do you do together?
Yeah, we like to go to a lot of team dinners, or this summer we were watching Love Island all together at someone's apartment. So if there's a show like that on, we love to do that.
Yeah, I mean dinners or like finding some activities to do, going to the lake and stuff. I think these are the ones. I love the lake, so.
We talked a little bit about you representing Minnesota and the state of volleyball, but what does it mean to be a Minnesota Gopher?
It's awesome. I don't have no words because it's the best experience ever. Like, I couldn't have wished my last 3 years at Minnesota to be any different, and then I have one more season coming up, so can't wait to finish it out here.
Yeah, I'm so proud to be a Gopher too. Like playing under this legacy, like this year's, like it has a lot of people behind it. So it's just like so fun and so like I'm so proud to be playing for this program.
I think just kind of big picture, what are your main goals this season, both individually and for the team heading into the season?
Yeah, I think an individual goal of mine is obviously to get better at serve receive, a little bit more consistent with it. Team goals, siding out a little faster, more offense.
Yeah, personally me too, like passing and then getting better at every aspect. I mean, I just like set, serve. I don't head or block, so I'm trying to get better at every aspect. And yeah, as a team, we are trying to just go as far as we can and then push each other and yeah, show good volleyball to the viewers.
You graduated some key components. How is this team different than last year's?
Yeah, this year's we're gonna have a lot of younger athletes, but of course, they're still so competitive. They work hard in the gym every day, and they're fresh bodies. So I'm very excited to see what they can do on the court this year.
Yeah, it's a younger team, but younger means more energy, I think. So it's gonna be a new great season with a new energy, and yeah, with that.
I'm sure if there is an energy, you're going to bring it.
Yes,
so
I will.
No doubt about
I will be
that.
there.
Well, thank you both so much for your time today and joining us at Big Ten Media Days. I can't wait to watch you this season. Good luck.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.